Welcome to From Ashes to Assets. This is the podcast about rebuilding wealth after setbacks. If you're ready to turn financial loss into financial opportunity, then you are in the right place. Let's begin. Here's your host, John Van Keuren. Well, John, how you doing today?
Real good, real good.
I'm so glad that we finally have this opportunity to get together. I want to introduce you properly. So for you guys, that this is John's first podcast today. And so you guys need to know that John is the president of a company called Starship Investments. And our podcast is called Phoenix Rising, Ashes to Assets. This is going to be a great time today. John has a wealth of investment information that he's going to be sharing. John, you ready to? We've all got our notes. I'm ready to be rich.
Yeah. From ashes all the way to the top. Here we go.
That is it. So tell us a little bit about you personally, and then your business background, how you got started, and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I grew up in Southern California. I lived in a really nice little town. My dad worked at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, so I'm the son of a rocket scientist. So that's a little bit of an interesting thing. And I loved Frisbee golf. I played Frisbee golf, the world's first Frisbee golf course at Oak Grove.
Elk Grove is the world's first?
Yeah, Oak Grove Park.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right by JPL. So there was a horse trail behind our house, and I could walk down the horse trail to Lackawanna High School and then played Frisbee golf.
So when I was living in Denver, I owe my Frisbee golf all to you, with your first place out there near JPL. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Terrific.
Yeah.
So because you were so successful in Frisbee golf, that led you to what you're doing now.
Oh, no. So I had my own business, and my business was in the security field. So I protected people's assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, their businesses, their homes. And so in Los Angeles, I got to meet a lot of really interesting people. So that was kind of my way. I became an entrepreneur and learned how to build a business from scratch. I'd drive around and meet contractors in my truck and, introduce myself. And that's how I got work. That's how I started out. So
you mean like the old-fashioned way? You actually talked to people?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we didn't have phones. We didn't have, we had phone at home.
What a novel concept.
Yeah, right.
Talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, if I tried to get a hold of one of my friends, I usually call their house, and their mom would answer and say, "Yeah, well, Matt's down at the park." So then I have to drive down there and see if my friend was down there. Well, can't you just text him? My kids say, and I'm like, no, we didn't have that back then.
Wow. Do you still have that business today?
Yes, I do.
What's the name of that business?
ProTech Security.
ProTech Security.
Yeah.
And that's in Southern California?
Yeah, I've had it for 38 years, in Los Angeles, yeah.
Terrific.
So I've got a couple guys running it, Richard Kikuya and Alex Marino. They're kind of running the show while I'm, going out on this new adventure.
Well, we are excited about your new adventure. So tell us a little bit about your new adventure with Starship.
So first of all, I want to dedicate this first show to my three kids, William, Sophia, and Valerie. They're amazing. I love you guys. And I also wanted to shout out to my brother Jim and my brother Neil and his wife Therese. They've really been really great and just kind of keeping me grounded through things that I've been through in my life. So
that's cool. And how old are your kids?
My kid, William, is 21, and he's in college. He's in Phoenix. He's studying to be an electrical engineer, like his grandfather. Wow. So my dad, So he's really doing well at that, and it's hard. It's a lot of math. So, but I'm really proud of him. And then my daughter, Sophia, she is 20, and she's got 2 jobs that she's doing right now, and she really enjoys it. So she's working hard. She's got her own car, making payments.
Is she in L.A. too? Or she?
No, she's here.
In Utah?
Yeah, yes, yeah. Uh-huh.
Cool.
And then my youngest is Valerie. She's still in high school. So she likes drawing, and she's just the apple of my eye. She's
that's
so
great.
Sweet. Yeah.
Sounds like you had a nice family.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
It's good because with those kids, you've got to use your Starship Investments to make sure that they all get everything they need, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of what this is all about. I feel like the greatest generation was the World War II generation, which my dad was World War II, the Navy, and they kind of left their legacy. And I kind of feel like us baby boomers, we have to leave that legacy, and we're $38 trillion in debt. So, I kind of worry about the generation coming up. They say that this generation won't be able to afford to buy a house, and you just, so, I've kind of been trying to think, how can we help this generation? How can the baby boomers up to date, rather than just, leaving them, an inheritance? I think, and that was kind of part of what I had ideas, and I tried to raise money, and it was real hard to do. And so I think I've come up with an avenue for somebody that's got an idea or wants to start a business, and they need, you need capital. We live in a world where you have to have capital to make a dream come true. And so I've kind of come up with something that I think is really going to help somebody that's got an idea that wants to start a business or buy a business to make that dream come true. And I think that we kind of have a responsibility to, help this generation coming up, because it's not going to be easy for them. There's going to be some things that are going to be hard for them to kind of get ahead in this world. I mean, if you come from a family of money, you're probably going to be okay. But there's a lot of people out there that are kids today growing up that are in college and they graduate. And then, with AI coming and stuff, you just kind of wonder what's going to happen to the jobs. I think my son's in college. Is he going to graduate, and his degree, that he has, is AI going to, it's just like, we know that it's going to displace a lot of people. If you're working at a call center, your job's going to be replaced. It's just the way it is. It's not much we can do about it. It's like a snowball tumbling down the mountain. You can't stop it,
Yeah, I'm excited to see what new opportunities AI is going to generate, since it's going to take other jobs and opportunies away. So what new things are going to be generated to kind of take that over? We've all heard the stories when cars came out, people who owned horses and buggies are all upset. Oh, it's going to destroy our lifetime. But, and all it did was created more industries, which created more jobs. So I'm curious to see what new things AI is going to create for us, how it's going to improve our lives.
Yeah. Disruptive technologies have always been just that. They've been disruptive, and it's always kind of like, oh, it's going to be the end of the world. The light bulb came along. Well, what are people going to do that make candles and kerosene and all that kind of stuff? And as it turned out, it's pretty good that we have electricity, right?
That is a good thing.
Yeah. So, but I think AI is a little bit different because they can reproduce themselves, and they can, It's a little bit of a different technology that there can be great abundance on the other side of this. But I think that there's going to be a time of unrest, maybe even. There's going to be, it's a huge disruption, and nobody really knows what's going to happen or where this is going to go. We really don't.
No. So the other day we were talking, and you were telling me about your unique investment strategy. I know it involves buckets.
Buckets is not probably a very good terminology to use.
Buckets, assets. So tell us a little bit about your new investment strategy, how it works, what benefits it's going to provide to me and lots of the other folks out there.
So it's a little bit outside the box. Most traditional investors, and it's not really like investing in a company. There's lots of people out there that will sell you investment products, and that's because they work for a company and they want to sell you the 60-40, 60 stocks, 40 bonds. Those days are over. I think that is not going to be really a good strategy for building long-term wealth. So my strategy is creating with an investor LLCs that have a bucket of assets inside that. And so the bucket of assets that I've created is kind of something that's very unique. And the rich, they, and I'm not putting down the rich. I mean, the things that they do is legal, but they typically have assets, and they borrow against those assets, you know. And so I've made something where the average person can do what rich do, is they borrow against those assets to buy more assets. Geez, if we could borrow at 4% and buy assets that are growing at 10, 15, 20%, we'd all be rich, right?
Right. So let's say that I've invested, I now have a bucket of assets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm presuming that there are other people that are in the same bucket with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's like, let's say there's 100 people in there, in the bucket,
Mm-hmm.
and all the assets are in the bucket.
Yeah.
And like other folks who, like you mentioned, the wealthy who are astute in a lot of these things. I know
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them, what they can do is they can literally create their own bank. And
Yes.
they become their own bank, and then they have to,
Yeah.
instead of pulling money out of the bank, they borrow against the assets that are in the bank. But their bank, they don't really, take the money out. It's just borrowing. So the assets still stay in the bank.
That's right.
So
That's
is
right.
this concept similar to that? But wait, there's more.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm borrowing
There's
not only my assets that are in the bucket, but other people have assets in the bucket, and I can borrow against those assets too?
You got it. So you understand this better than a lot of people do. This is where a lot of people really get lost. Well, John, when I start drawing money out? Well, no. You're looking at this all wrong.
Yeah.
So you're creating assets that you are never going to sell. When you sell, even when you invest, most people invest in a, they get a 401k, they put money in it, and they pay, after tax when they put, unless you get a Roth IRA. If you get a Roth IRA, then you don't pay any taxes when you draw the money out, but
Right.
you're paying the taxes when you put the money in. So you have income, you're still paying taxes on that, and then you're funding that retirement account. Mm-hmm. What the wealthy do is they buy assets and then they borrow against those assets. So they never, there is no tax event.
They don't touch the principal.
No, they never touch it.
Right.
And so inside this basket of assets that I've created are assets that you're going to need your whole life. So you're not going to have any need to sell them. You can borrow against them forever, and you can pass it on to your children and your great-grandchildren, and on and on and on and on. So that's what the wealthy do. I kind of compare that to the an apartment in Manhattan that sold for $250 million. Well, think what that building is worth that apartment is on now.
Yeah.
Think about what the land is that building is built on. Those people are never going to sell that land. Are you kidding me? They're going to borrow against that land forever, and they're never going to have to work. So that's where people don't really understand that, you don't ever have to worry about drawing that money out because you can just keep borrowing against it. Well, then you think, oh, well, am I ever going to have to pay that money back? No, you never really do have to pay that back. I mean, some of the wealthiest people in the world, they have debt.
Yeah.
They have debt. They do, because they're leveraging their assets to buy more assets, and you can just, it's like a flywheel. You can just keep doing that.
Oh yeah. I think you really nailed this here, because a lot of people don't understand this concept about being your own bank or having assets in a bucket.
Yeah.
In the fact that since you're simply borrowing against the principal, you're not touching the principal. You can just keep borrowing against that. When you use it, you don't pay any taxes.
That's right.
Because you're not taking principal out. It's simply a loan.
Yeah, no, this thing that I've come up with, it's nothing really that different, or maybe it's not necessarily something that isn't already there, but the way that I have designed it and arranged it is very unique. It's basically one large bucket and then another bucket half that size, and then another one half that size, and then another one half that size. And that's why I call it my 4-4-4. So
four buckets?
Yeah.
Four buckets?
Yeah, it's 4 buckets. Yeah, it's 4 buckets. Okay. But it's called my 4-4-4. I actually do have a 4-4-4-4, but I have that for it's for something that is a much bigger thing that I'm building.
So the 4-4-4.
I'm not going to get into right now.
So you got 4 different buckets.
Yes.
So do they stair step down? So like bucket one up here is like 10 million, 5 million. 2
Yeah,
million,
so like the
100,000. I mean,
yeah, so I have going all the way from 40 billion, 4 billion, 400 million, 40 million, and 4 million is the smallest.
okay.
Yeah, and so the $4 million bucket, inside that, when we build that $4 million bucket,
Okay.
then we build a $2 million bucket, and then a $1 million bucket, and then a $500,000 bucket. So the investor actually has 4 buckets that are growing exponentially. And the smallest of those 4 buckets in 4 years will be worth as much as all 4 of those buckets. So you can imagine that so an element of this is time.
Right.
I call it my get rich over time. Get rich quick, those usually don't work.
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody tells you they're going to make you rich quick, they're usually full of what.
Yeah.
So any smart investor, I mean, even Warren Buffett, he said, you find one good stock and you buy that stock. And like Coca-Cola, I mean, how much has Coca-Cola made him over the years? Find one good investment, invest in that, and then hold it. It's long-term hold. And so, but I have inside that, I have assets that are growing, and they are also kind of compounding, and we're also using leverage. And we can do 100% leverage, we can do 50% leverage, or we can do no leverage. So depending on what your risk tolerance is, but there really is no risk because you're borrowing. I call it fiat. Fiat. We can go down that rabbit hole so I've done a lot of research and gone down a lot of rabbit holes as far as the banking system and money and what currency is and what different currencies were through time.
Yeah.
Like you go back to seashells. Obviously gold and silver were used for coinage, for a long time because that's a solid asset. So in these buckets, I have precious metals, gold and silver particularly, because that's a long-term store of value that's been around for thousands of years. People trust it.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you have set this up to accommodate small investors as well as large investors.
Yes.
So let's say that I am just a small-time investor. I have $25,314.87. Am I going to go in the $40 billion bucket, or which bucket am I going to go in? How would you work with a small investor?
So a smaller investor, I would probably have to get them to maybe do something with like some friends or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there a minimum amount before I can jump into a bucket?
Yeah, I would say that would. I'm kind of going. I have a pretty ambitious goal, and so I'm looking for kind of a bigger investors. But I've thought about it of doing like a $400,000 and a $40,000.
Okay.
And even a $40,000 investment over time will grow into millions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it won't really take that much time. So.
So if I have $1 million, I want to invest it. Which bucket am I going to go in?
So you would go in the $1 million bucket.
Okay.
And that would also buy the $500,000 bucket too. It's like I'm almost giving that to you for free.
Oh my gosh. Buy one bucket, get one.
Yeah.
It's a BOGO deal.
Yeah. And then the thing that's really cool is let's say a $40 million investor comes to me. He gets the $20 million bucket, the $10 million, the $5 million. And then the $5 million buys the $4 million bucket, the $2 million bucket, the $1 million, and the $500,000.
Oh.
So now we have 8 LLCs. Now there's a reason we create. God, John, doesn't that sound like a accounting nightmare? No, they see this. So, oh man, there's so much for me to tell you. So that's where it kind of gives you a lot of options and where it kind of creates this flywheel, I call it.
Yeah.
So it's like 4 flywheels, and it's, I kind of look at it like this, like you think of it like gears. So you have 4 gears, and you have a bigger one, then it's 150% smaller, and then 150, and those 4 gears are spinning, and they're turning a bigger flywheel. So it's like, it's really incredible the way this thing works.
This is so unique. So I'm going to make sure that I understand this, because if I'm confused, there may be at least one other person. So let's say that there's a $4 million investor. He's in the $4 million bucket. And I'm just going to call it spillover. So part of that $4 million is going to spill over into the $2 million.
That's right.
Into the $1 million, into the
500,000.
500,000, and then maybe something on down.
Yeah.
So let's say that I'm in the 400,000, and let's say I'm the first guy in the $400,000 bucket.
It's not like a pyramid thing or anything like that.
So what that means is that even though there may not be anybody that came in and with a $400,000 invested, somebody from the $4 million is going to be spillover, and they're going to end up in the $400,000 bucket. So we're all going to reap the benefits of the assets in that bucket. Correct?
Yes, that's part of the not directly, but kind of indirectly.
Indirectly.
Yes.
So I would be able to borrow against not only mine, but part of theirs?
Yes, because all of you are investing in this bucket in things that, because you're investing in them, it's going to make them grow and make them more scarce.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
So
it's
that's
making sense.
Yes.
This is pretty exciting, John.
It is very exciting. Yeah. It's something. There's like a saying: necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
So I've kind of gone through some stuff in my life recently, and so I kind of got to this place where I got to figure this out. I'm either just going to become nothing and never do anything with my life. And then, I look at my kids, and so I want to make a difference in the world,
Yeah.
And so part of this is, how can I impact the world? And so sometimes when you kind of hit rock bottom, so to speak, and you kind of come to a place in your life, you kind of start looking into things. So I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've read a lot of books, and I've kind of looked into the financial system and how it works.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of your average guy, but I've kind of I think because of that and because of what I've kind of gone through, it kind of forces you to, find something that's going to the Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
The Phoenix Rising. And that's kind of the theme of this show, right? It's kind of like and I was there for the fires in LA. I was there that night. I was outside, and the wind was blowing, and it was, it was warm. We were in January, and it was 68 degrees out. And this, and in Southern California, we have a thing called the Santa Ana winds that come around, but that's usually October. Mm-hmm. And this was, these were strong winds. And then the fire came, and I lived in an area right next to Altadena. I didn't get over to the Palisades, but I after the fires, I drove around in there, and it was like out of the movie set.
Yeah.
That was just devastation. And it was street after street after street. It was like something you'd see in a movie. It was I had never seen anything like that. And of course I grew up there. And so, these people are going to have to rebuild. And I think there's a component of this that maybe can help these people rebuild, and rise out of the ashes. So, but also, I kind of saw myself sitting in the ashes. Mm-hmm. And I'm either going to get up and make something in my life, or I'm not. And I didn't want to be that person that has regrets and said, well, why didn't I do this, So, so I kind of got to that place where I needed to do something, and I needed to do something bold. And this is it.
This is amazing. And that's why, we've come up with the name from ashes to assets, because you have risen. You were in that place. And
I was.
You've been in the ashes,
man,
and rising up from the ashes. And this whole podcast is designed for people who may be in a similar situation. Maybe they've gone through some financial devastation, great amounts of losses, and it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And you've got a choice. You've either you just give up and go live in a van down by the river, or you do something about it and rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And I think you have got you've got probably one of the best answers and best solutions I've ever seen to help anyone who's gone through some devastating financial scenario. This can really help people to come up out of that and become successful again.
Yeah, I believe I do. Yeah. I've given it a lot of thought, and so I think so. It's something that's very unique. It's outside the box, and so it has a lot of features, and I can go into more. It even gets better than that. So one of the things that can also be done over time is that in these cycles that we're doing, we can reinvest because these buckets are sowing. For instance, the largest of those buckets after a 4-year period can then buy those 4 buckets again. So I was sitting down last night and I was figuring that out over the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And after 20 years, the investor's going to have 20 LLCs, 20 buckets, all of them with the same assets. Now, each one isn't going to be as big because over time those assets go up in value.
Sure.
So the money that $4 million is buying, those assets have gone up. But so what? Those assets are going to go up again in another 4 years.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So on top of that, we're talking about exponential. It's and that could go on forever.
It's almost like a perpetual motion financial machine.
You know what? It almost feels like it's illegal, like I've cracked the system. So I'm going to get myself in some trouble right here. So, I got to be careful what I say.
Well, don't give the farmer away today.
No, I'm not going to. No. Yeah. We've just kind of, touched the surface a little bit here.
This is a teaser today, and on our next podcast, we're going to delve more into those details.
Yeah.
In the couple of minutes that we've got left, John, tell us how, if somebody's interested, how can they get a hold of you today? You got a phone number we can call?
Yes, I do. So this is in the very early stages right now.
Just give us the phone number now.
But I have my personal cell phone number, 818-427-9196 is my cell phone.
And your website I know is in process of being built, and that's starshipinvestments.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll look forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you'll be having an email, john@starshipinvestments.com.
That's correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
But for right now, just call the phone number 818-427-9191.
Yes. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
John, I'm excited about all the other podcasts you've got coming up. Those of you who are watching and listening now, be sure to subscribe to all of John's podcasts.
Yes.
More information is going to be coming up very, very soon.
Yeah,
you're going to be happy.
Yeah, I want to do more of these, Michael, and I want to thank you for being kind, genuine, and such a professional at your craft.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I do appreciate
Happy
that,
to help
Michael.
out.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys again next time with another exciting adventure with John with Phoenix Rising, Ashes to Assets,
all the way to the top.
Starship Investments. We'll see you guys again next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. Remember, financial setbacks don't define you. It's how you rise that does. Be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends and associates, and we hope to see you again next time on From Ashes to Assets with your host, John Van Keuren.